Hello gamers, Powered Heal here, and today we're doing a live hardcore arena push. You can see we have a little 95 Falconer here on hardcore, solo account found, so we're going to be trying to get the rank 1 arena, and yeah, just going to be doing a little push. This is a little bit sooner than I wanted to kind of have done it, but I have a lot of things I want to do, and I just want to do it. I think we're gonna be fine. I expect this to not really be that difficult. I think I built the character in a pretty intelligent way. So I'll head to the arena here. I'm just gonna see what the... It's 230. I think I'm gonna try and get 230, even though on the solos it's 210. I'm just going to try and go to like 250 or something. We'll see. I'll see how it feels though. I'll be able to tell like how hard it's going to be by how it feels. So put the key in and just go infinite here. Scales up. Okay. And that's kind of ominous, huh? It's like lagging for it. So we're on like west or central right now because east is like somehow worse. Oh, how's it at 100 already? That's interesting. Okay, well, that's good to know that it's like that, but I'll actually just explain the actual character after I'm done, I guess. I'm kind of happy that it's at 1 something, but like a little bit surprised. There are definitely some interesting decisions that were made in lieu of not really having time to get better gear. I think they're kind of smart, honestly. I would say that I got way higher rank with worse gear, but that's not really true. I'd say overall it's better gear. It just like overall it is better gear. It's just not quite as tanky. But being tanky is very important. Oh, also, hold on, we're gonna change something too, just in case. Okay, so I'm kind of unsure if this talent here, hold on, where is it? Actually does anything in arena, but just in case it does, we're gonna unspec it. This arena is like probably one of the hardest ones just because it doesn't have very good cover. Like how I normally play this is just like clearly trying to play like the pillars and stuff, you know? I'm a little bit concerned because that did feel like some of the mobs are already kind of tanky, but we'll see. I guess when you use that other key, it probably starts you at like 100 minimum. I think I'm fine playing here. Maybe I play over here, actually. Hold on. I think I actually want to play over here. It still seems kind of okay. So just trying to like play the corners. I was gonna say, I was like, it's not even worth it breaking those barrels, it's just annoying, but you can get some decent stuff sometimes. I think as long as 230 goes well, I will try and... Or as long as 210 goes well, I will try and beat 230. I think we can push a lot higher. I think this can push, like... I honestly think I could probably... Like, if I played it pretty well, I could maybe push to, like, where I was on the main, like, 700-ish. Another bad arena. It just, like... It's just a matter of how good the damage feels. Right now, I still have kind of a lot of damage left on the table. So... I have a lot of health left on the table as well. I'm really glad it did start at 100. Just every bad arena, honestly. In case you're wondering like why they're bad, it's just because like you kind of start, you just have like a weird spot. You don't really have like a very good safe zone. It's hard to establish a safe zone. You basically have to like fight. I need to get this character to the point where it's pretty much comfortable farming it at like 200 corruption, I think would be ideal. Which I think basically is just going to entail getting all the good blessings from 100 corruption. And then, like, maybe getting health, like double health in my belts. And potentially... double health somewhere else. Ooh, that actually took some damage. One thing you can do in this is you can kind of like spam potions, because I have the mod that gives me like warders potions, so you can kind of spam potions to get some of it back. I feel like the only difference, really, that I'm experiencing right now between this and the other build is that, like, I'm just having to be a little bit smarter about my Falcon Strikes usage to deal with, like, strong enemies. We're starting to creep towards the zone where we can actually definitely take damage and potentially die, but it would probably have to be a fairly big grief for now. This is a pretty good one. It's a pretty decent arena. I'd rather have the good RNG later anyway. See, some stuff like this being alive, like rares being alive for a long time, that's the good thing that the other build doesn't have to worry about. But honestly, like what took me out in the 700 run was not rares anyway. And I tend not to think of that being the problem, really. I don't know where this thing is, so it's like... Hello? I don't want to get ambushed by something like really cringe. There it is, okay. You can tell things are getting a little bit tankier. To be honest, like, just for a lower level push like this, it might actually be easier to have a higher damage build that has a little bit less tanky. Just because it, like, obliterates things quicker. But there are things that can kind of flicker onto you, so it's nice having a little bit of a buffer, I guess. $174. I think so far this has gone well. I'm just hitting those to see if we can get like a Havoc or something. That's why I need to run at 200, because not a lot of Havocs are dropping at 100, honestly. Even with the enhancements in the tree. The idea here is you want to play close to the spawn, but you want to also be able to LOS the spawn. That gives you like a maximum utility because you can take out that group before another group arrives. So you don't want to jump into them like that. That's really bad. But yeah, you can take out one group before the next group arrives. But you can also play the pillar if you need to, right? Like our damage still feels fine, I would say. It doesn't feel great, but it feels fine. We still have a lot of room to push it too. I'll talk about it a little bit more after. I don't really think I like this arena, if I remember. Maybe it's okay. No, yeah, it's okay, I think. It's not. Yeah, see, those things are like kind of problematic. Like, you may think it's kind of redundant to be trying to dodge like every little thing, but it's actually important on this class in particular because a big part of your defense, especially against big hits, is your glancing blow. And a huge part of our defense with our glancing blow is that our glancing blow is doubled if we didn't get hit recently, right? So it really is worth it to not just take straight hits for no reason. If it can be avoided like that. You can just feel that our dive bomb is getting a little bit ineffective at this point. Like, not crazy ineffective, but this is a pretty good arena, I want to say. I think you just play like here. Actually, am I dumb? I think you actually play here, yeah. So in certain scenarios, it's okay to use ooh, yikes. Big damn. Yeah, you can feel it getting a little bit sketch. We're gonna completely let our thing reset here. You can precast things as well. It's worth at this point, like, taking it slow. You can also use the ballistas to help you identify where threats are coming from. Those are big threat, by the way, the little dog, the little cats. Especially at like where we are right now. They already start to do a good amount of damage. Nice. One of the annoying parts is we weren't able to get some of our there's this thing we want from the blessings. It's the physical penetration from the cold one. We weren't really able to get that before we did this push. I used up all my little things to keep summoning the boss and it wouldn't do it, so it's a little bit annoying. So if we get this, then we end up we actually get a terrible arena too. It's actually so funny. Okay, I feel like the game was like actually really testing us there. Yeah, the game I feel like was really testing us because we got like a terrible arena and really bad spawns. This might be a kind of a rough one, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna preset our things here. Okay. Those wheels are super dangerous, by the way. Let's try and find open space. Oof, sketchy. Alright, we're gonna do this next one, obviously, to push for the rank 1 in hardcore, and then we're just gonna see how it goes. Like, if it looks easy, then we're just, like, we'll maybe continue to get the other rank 1, but... that one was a little bit sketch. This one is actually a pretty good arena. It's very, like, open, you know? I feel pretty good about that. We'll like reassess after this and see. Okay, so 220 waves completed. So we are like rank 1 hardcore. What about solo? What about normal? Not normal. Sorry, it was like... wait, it's hardcore. $230. Can I even be on this ladder? I think I'm just gonna try and I'm just gonna push past this. So I'm like the #1 overall. It's fine. Should be okay. I think we'll be okay. Famous last words. I think we'll be okay. Lakeside Arena. This is the bad one again, is it not? It is. Oh, it's so cringe. God, it's so cringe, like... I think I can push for it, though. I think the key is just, like... Hold on, we're gonna just set up properly for this. Yeah, so the main thing you need to keep in mind there is, like, you have to be balancing moving with, like, you have to know, like, when to move versus when to get your damage down, because unfortunately these ballistas, it's very much unlike PoE. Like, PoE totems are not strong because they're like, they're just outclassed in damage and defensiveness. In this game, their damage is kind of okay, especially considering the fact that they're autonomous, but the problem is that they don't last very long and they cost a ton of mana. Like, the mana component is actually huge, and also the time you're locked into the animation while casting is definitely greater than PoE, and it's hard to really get it super low without a crazy investment in Dex, which is obviously super hard to do on hardcore. So it's very... Like when you get into those sketchy situations, it sucks because you need to have your totems down to be doing damage. Because, like, if you're running all the time, then you're not actually contributing to solving the problem. And the moment you, like, stop, you can get just dogpiled by everything, right? So you have to be, like, really careful. Like, that's sort of what happened when I got brought to, like, 20% or whatever it was during this run. Okay, this arena, we're gonna do, like, one... Okay, this is actually a perfect arena. I really like this arena, actually. Yeah, that was bad. So you have to be very careful doing stuff like that. $35. I think I'm gonna go to 40 because it's just easy to do in this arena. 240. Wave 240. I feel like that's pretty good, honestly. I feel like we just... Do we push higher, really? The thing that I'm wondering is, like, if I go to the next arena and I don't like the arena, can I just, like, leave? Or will I be stuck in the arena if I, like, disconnect and then die, right? That's why I don't... Because, I mean, the arena is a big factor. I think I'm just going to call it here for now. Because, like, I mean, I could just keep pushing, but you know... I think I just want more damage before I'm comfortable with that. Yeah, so we're at 240. Because we could just get like a bad arena again, and then it's really sketch. Wait. So do I not have the... So if I abandon it, I start at level 1. Hold on. Okay. I think that's just a general warning, yeah. I haven't abandoned the run because I've only done softcore, so... Alright. We made it out, guys. We did it. So just to show you a little bit about the build and kind of like the changes, the main thing with this build that's different from the softcore version is obviously we're trying to get HP, but we're using a lot of ward and decay threshold. I would like to use decay threshold on the belt, but it's just hard to, you know, really get all the resist you need. So this belt is still really good, but we're basically running decay threshold on both the rings and the amulet. That's huge. And then I don't think there's another decay threshold. I think that's it. So it's decay threshold here, decay threshold here. We have enchantments of decay threshold and ward per second on the idols here. And then we have just crit and crit multi to help round out this. This puts us at literally like 100% crit. For the belt, it's actually kind of suboptimal. We want to have tier 5 mana regen. That would actually make a little bit of a difference. Because our mana regen is already good, but I think it would be perfect if we had a tier 5 there. Then we want double health. We want hybrid health and percent health. And as you can see, we have way too much physical resistance. So this belt is a very easy upgrade. We just don't have a better one right now, right? So there's that. Then these gloves are like okay, right? They're pretty good. You can actually go double health on these, but it's hard, right? Because you need like more res in other places, so that's an interesting thing. These, it's a double, it's like a 2 LP, right, which is difficult. The thing about this is that you really want it to be health. Like, you really want this to be hybrid health. So there's that. We're not using the T-Rex. The thing with the T-Rex is actually very overrated. I think I've come to the conclusion on. And it's kind of okay to run in softcore because you don't really care if you occasionally die, right? So having the extra damage from the +2 like minion levels, and then when it does roar, which is a decent amount of the time, you know, it's pretty good, right? But the problem here is that you can really use these other stats. Like, we're capped on necrotic because of this. We have 62 extra health because of this. We don't have mana problems because of this. We have additional armor shred because of this, right? So, like, all of these things kind of go away when you just toss. Like the other thing has terrible stats. It has like +4 to all attributes. And then +2 to minions, right? So it's not worth giving up all the extra stats to get +2 extra. And I'll talk about how we do the ballista stats. So we covered the rings already. The bow is actually pretty decent. We got a little bit lucky. I mean, 3LP is easy to get, but we got lucky in that we got a tier 7 minion bow, and then tier 5, and we got them. I had to go through a couple of these, right? So it wasn't like perfect or anything. We also have a really good base, like it's 30% mana and really good resistances. The ideal thing here is to get another one of these and then corrupt one of them. And once you corrupt one of them, hopefully it doesn't brick, and then that's your baseline. You can just keep corrupting the other ones, right? Because you always have one that's corrupted now, so you can't risk it by corrupting it again. But it's your baseline bow, right? And it can't be destroyed. So that's what we're gonna try and do in the future. Because getting like one more mod on this, like if we hit like a +52 fizz, that immediately makes pushing way safer. Because we just do way more damage at that point, right? The helmet or the body armor here is just as much health as you can get. The reason why we use this is for the crit avoidance. Just to save on other slots, right? Simple as that. Ideally, you use something different here late game. The quiver here, obviously this would be better if it was minion damage, but we weren't able to get that, so just, minion damage, flat damage, and then resist where you need them. Then you do need Peak of the Mountain, in my opinion, unless you get like really lucky on idols or something, but this is a great helmet. Not much else to say about it. Just need it to crit cap. Crit cap is super important because you're going to notice with this build that the damage you do when you don't crit is horrific. Like, it's super bad. And the damage you do when you crit is insane. So you really need to be a crit cap. There's nothing else to say. Like, we definitely would have died in this run if we weren't a crit cap because our damage wouldn't have been good enough to bail us out. This build, it's a combination of like high damage and trying to get your damage as high as possible with your tankiness, right? And this one item like turns the tables on getting crits in your favor so much that you really need it. I would prefer if instead of the 8 decks we had another health roll here, but it is what it is. The armor shred is actually good as well. The chance to shred armor on bow hit, because this actually does apply, so it's fine. I think that's all the base items. Yeah, so these we just use the adorned things here. I think I actually need I could have like the wrong altar in. I'll find the altar in my stash in a moment, but just to go over these. So crit and crit multi is always better than flat ballista damage on these because it double dips, right? So you get the 23 crit strike multiplier and you get the minion crit strike multiplier thanks to the nodes in the ballista tree. So you're kind of like double dipping. So that's why the crit multi is always better. But, we just don't have good crit multi ones in every slot. So that's why we have this one. If we get a better crit multi one, we will use it, right? So that's that. What we already have like slow on hit in other forms in this, right, on our quiver. So ideally what you'd actually do is you would use armor shred effect or additional crit if you need it here. Same with this, you shouldn't have throwing damage, it should be armor shred effect. We just don't have really great idols, right? So yeah. And then I like ward decay threshold and ward per second on these, but you can really get whatever. For the smaller ones here, just mana regen, right? Mana regen wherever you can with a resistance is kind of the theme. And then health when you can, or ward retention when you can if you don't need mana regen, or if you don't need health, then you go mana regen. You can just get whatever you need here, right? And then for the actual altar that you want, which I forgot to swap in, I was supposed to swap in an altar before I did this run, and we just did it without it. Where is it? Why am I so bad? Oh, it's, I don't know if that's how you spell altar in this particular case. No, it's not altar, okay. Yeah, obviously it's not. My brain is, I'm so tired. Okay, yeah, so this is actually what you want, basically. And you actually want this mod, the percent of effective prefixes in refracted slots. The only thing is you want this to be like tier 7, ideally. It's like 50%, but I mean, this is about as good as you're going to get for now. And I believe it's the same amount of spaces. So what you do, actually, maybe I can just put this here. Yeah. So that's fine. But what you would do is you would change the, like, where these are. Like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. And then, like, you can hopefully just get one with slightly better things. There's also some that have, like, prefixes and suffixes get affected, so that's fine. But yeah, that's would have helped to have a little bit more damage there. And then we'll go through the tree here really quick. So basically, the same thing you would do in the normal build here. You just grab this, grab this, grab this for the damage reduction of glancing blow. This, we're maxing this out because we're not using the glancing blow chest, so I need every last point of glancing blow. I believe we have 99% glancing blow, yeah. Would love this for it to be 100, but, you know, it is what it is, right? You have 100% crit avoidance to the chest and something else. So, yeah, you need all the glancing blow you can get here. Plus, it gives dex, so it's not terrible. You at least want 5 points in it for the physical resistance. Then, coming through here, you want 5 points in this for the bonus. Then you want 1 in here, so you can start putting points in here. Then you want at least 5 in here for the armor shred effect, because this does, you do inherit this from your even being ballista. You want the more damage here, right? Then you want the less damage here. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Then the actual Falconer stuff. Instead of getting the shroud here, because I believe they changed what this was. Before it used to be something else. Damage over time, not really a big issue. If you really want, you can put the points in here instead of in here, but I just get 30 extra health. Then we get the Agile Hunt, we get this, and basically you need all these points to progress. Put 1 point in the Shroud here. This is something, again, you may not need this if you have the Glancing Blow chest, but we don't, so we need all the Glancing Blow we can get. So this gives us a bunch of Glancing Blow. Then put 1 point in here, some points in here. Want this so our abilities are instant, obviously, so they feel better. We get the crit here, which is insane. The damage reduction, movement speed here. The Glancing Blow doubling effect here. We don't get this right here. Now you can if you want, but I don't think it's really that good, honestly. Something to keep in mind is that we are running like heavy penetration on this particular version of the ballista tree, which means that you will like get multiple hits through a crowd, right? So I mean, I don't know. You're like, realistically, this could be pretty good depending on what you're doing. I don't need it for what I'm doing, so I just don't have it. One thing to note is that, like, because you are getting this automatically, right, you are getting 35% crit avoidance. And if you use the chest, you already have 100, so you have 135%. So if you put 5 points in this, then you can basically think of it as you're getting 60% additional crit avoidance. You have 160%, which means that your minions are uncapped critical strike avoidance. Oh, and your uncapped critical strike avoidance. Oh, okay. So actually, yeah, this might be something that you want to put points into, because I think what this means is it's going to take the whole value. It's not just going to take what you're overcapped, because if it only takes what you're overcapped, it's not really worth it, because it would be, like 60%, and then that's divided by 3, right? So you'd basically get like 20 crit multi there. But if it was 160, now it's a lot more, right? And you already have the baseline set up from taking this node and the chest, right? So it actually is kind of like a lot better when you consider that. So it's kind of, yeah, I mean, that is sort of interesting, right? I think this actually could be better than I gave it credit for. So yeah, that's probably something that I will invest into. Maybe I'll even take a point away from one of these or something like that, because that's a lot of crit multi. So yeah, that's the scoop there. And then the last thing here is going to be, we're going to go into this stuff. So this, you just want to, the only thing you care about for your Falcon is getting the damage on Falcon Strikes, getting the call on Falcon Strikes, getting the additional Falcon Strikes, getting the mana thing here, and then getting the ailment chance for your Falcon. And this is mostly not really for like armor pen or something, but to keep up stuff like fragility, or to keep up slow, or to keep up chill, right? Or blind if you use blind. So that's why you put points in here. This, I personally make it so it's not a movement skill. If you want to use it your movement skill, that's fine. I get this, again, so we recover mana, right? And then, yeah, just make it do a little bit more damage, get the cooldown, get the frailty, get the ballista node, obviously, and then you're good. So that's that. For the ballista, so what we do here, the ballista is kind of important, okay? So because we don't have the like final form of this setup, which I'll make a separate video on, where we use a shield and we end up getting like 30 some ballista points, because we're not there yet, we can't really get access to this node easily. Why not? Well, because we need to put 3 points in here before we even start unlocking this node, and then, putting 3 points in here and putting like 1 point in this node isn't really worth it, right? So realistically, you need like around 6 or 5 points at least to make this worth. We don't have the extra points right now because we don't have an Omnis even. So what that means is that you're better off just making sure that you get the basics covered and then going into the Bodkin bolts. So what are the basics? You need the practical build. You need this node, Agile Engineering. You need care package with 3 out of 3 in this. You need contaminating shots. You could maybe make an argument that you put 1 point in this. Definitely don't put a point in this when you don't have it to spare, because you're not always going to be near your ballistas, right? So there's no point in putting something in that. But you could take like 1 out of here and put this in here too if you wanted, right? This is also non-negotiable. This is like a ton of your damage. This is really non-negotiable. This is a ton of your damage. You don't need 2 points in this. The 3% is enough. And this is just a filler point to get to here. But basically, think about it like this. If you were to remove the 2 points in here and this point, right, where does that actually get you? It gets you nowhere, because you basically put 3 points in here and now you have 0 points to put in twin bolts. And you have to think of it like this. This node, it probably is a damage increase. I haven't really done the math, just putting the points in here, period. The problem is, though, is it's not like an insane damage increase, right? Because you're losing actual damage as well. So you don't get to your pure damage increase until you get to twin bolts, okay? Which means that there's really no point in investing into this if you can't go deeper. So you're better off just not investing in this and just investing in the pen maker, because it makes each bolt more effective. which can be really important in Arena when you don't have high damage, as you saw. So that's the secret behind the configuration here. For this, you know, just cooldown reduction, Talon Blades, right, and then this, and then reduction, and then mana regeneration on rare hit. Thing about this is that I really like having the Falcon dive up more often, especially during mapping. During like arena pushing, maybe you would want this 4 out of 4 to be able to like really destroy those scary packs. I think that would actually probably be an improvement to my arena run there, actually, like having something like this. But when you're just normally like mapping or doing mono rather, I don't really like having this. And then this, you know, you want the invuln, you want the mana gained on use, you want the ability to use it if you get knocked under 50%, you want the cooldown recovery, you want the haste after, and you know, I don't like. You can also put points in this to cleanse. Actually, you probably should. I should be taking points out of this and putting them in there probably, at least a couple, right? Just because the cleanse is so valuable. Realistically, the cleanse is actually insane. I don't love the fact that it gains more distance, to be honest, but it's not like that much more, and the cleanse is worth it. So yeah, that's basically the entire build. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comments. We are just going to show the ladder one more time. So hardcore, it's not going to show us here, even though, because we're not on solo, but this guy, this is hardcore. Does it actually show? Okay, there's no entries, and okay, they only got wave 40, wave 60. Yeah, so the highest one is actually a solo player in non-hardcore, wave 230. We are 240, so we're the number one solo. So like we don't have access to trade. This is not hardcore trade. It's actually just normal solo play. But we even beat the guy on trade who is playing as a solo in the arena but can trade and stuff like that, obviously, right? So yeah, there's that. I don't think that, let's see here, is there a 4-player? No, it's not. Okay, yeah, so that's us, and I think we could push higher, but just not worth like dying for no reason, right? Because I can make the build stronger. But yeah, I'll probably come back to this eventually, but I have some other stuff I want to do right now. So thank you guys for watching, and hope you found this fun, entertaining. If you like this, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys next time. See ya. Actually, I'm going to just pull the character sheet up so you can see Ballista Warlord, right? And then we'll go back in. Ballista Warlord, okay. So, alright, see you guys.